In this video, we're gonna talk about the movie Bad Boys: Ride or Die. We'll discuss the story, summarize the plot, and explore the cast and characters of the movie. Additionally, we'll cover the movie's production details and box office performance. Finally, we'll provide a review and share some personal reactions on movie. Let's begin with movie story. Spoiler alert. The film opens in Miami as Detective Mike Lowery and Marcus Burnett are speeding throughout the streets on the way to an event. Marcus complains about being nauseous, and Mike allows him to get a ginger ale. Marcus gets the ginger ale plus kettle and a hot dog. A gunman then enters to try to rob to the place, but Mike enters and chastises Marcus for getting snakes before Marcus moves the gunman's arm, and Mike shoots him in the leg. The two then make their way to Mike's wedding as he is marrying his physical therapist Christine. They are joined by Marcus' wife Teresa, daughter Megan, son-in-law Reggie, plus Captain Rita Casa, her boyfriend, directed authority and hopeful mayor candidate Adam Lockwood, and Amo gets Kelly, and Dawn, as well as the late Captain Hardwar's daughter, U.S. Marshal Lady, and her daughter Kelly. In the middle of the festivals, Marcus suffers a near-fatal heart attack and collapses. As his friends and family call for help, Marcus sees himself by a beach where Howard is standing by a tree. He approaches Marcus and tells him it's not his time. Marcus wakes up in the hospital after a couple weeks, now having a newfound appreciation for her life and an inflated sense of confidence over her mortality. He returns home to Mike, Christine and the rest of his family all celebrating his return, but Marcus is annoyed to find that Teresa got rid of all his snakes to start putting him on a healthy diet. Somewhere else in Miami, a former DEA officer named James McGrath meets with a Carter banker and has him transfer funds to an account in Captain Howard's name. After the process is done, McGrath has one of his guns shoots the banker's bodyguard and then gave the banker's girlfriend hold the gun to shoot the banker and then herself. Soon, news break that Howard is being potentially framed for his involvement with cartels. Mike and Marcus head to the station to confront the higher-ups who believe Howard was crocked. Judy comes in trying to get herself in on case, while also vowing to Mike that if she ever comes across Armando, she will kill him in retribution for him killing her father. Mike and Marcus later visit Armando in prison and find out that Howard was tracked after his previous victims were eliminated due to his work we had against the curtains. He doesn't remember McGraw's name but remember his face since he worked with Armando's mother, so he can identify him. McGrath and his groans are attempting to continue their work, but once they try to get into Howard's accounts, they trigger a false face that sends video message to Mike and Marcus from Howard. In it, he explains that he knows they are seeing this if he is dead, and he knows that he is set to take the fall of something going back over 20 years. Howard tells the two to follow the Coke Bottle Giant, meaning a former informant of theirs named Fletcher. Mike and Marcus go to Fletcher's club to try and talk to him. He knows that they come on behalf of Howard, but just before he can tell the two what they want to know, Margaret shoots Fletcher in the head as Marcus already has his gun aimed at him to make his talk. Margaret walks away as his gunmen go after Mike and Marcus. In the middle of the shootout, Mike experiences a panic attack. The gunmen get away before Rita and her officers show up. Mike prevents Marcus from letting her know what they are going off a riff from Howard. The guys then take several pic and footage to Kelly and Dawn, who helps get a skin code unlocked, containing another message from Howard. He explained in further detail that he was working a cartel case and kept Mike and Marcus off to it because two other detectives from the first movie were put on it and they got killed. From the first movie that were Rose and Scanist. Howard warns the guys they are cartel have people working with the police and FBI. In prison, Armando is attacked by thugs on the inside sent by McGrath. Mike makes an argument to have Armando transferred in the chopper. Unfortunately, Margaret and his groans have already hijacked the helicopter and forced the pilot to send a distress message forming Mike and Marcus to the attack before Margaret slit his throat. Mike escapes with some of his guys and leaves the chopper to go down. Mike and Marcus fight the remaining guys while trying to save Armando from flying out of the open hatchback. After they free him, Armando helps them make a crash landing into a lake. Authorities survey the crash site and receive the distress message, so Mike, Marcus and Armando all are labeled wanted fugitives, while McGrath puts on a large bounty on their head to every gangster in Miami. Mike and Marcus allow Armando with how to be on a run, with Marcus sees as a good opportunity to Mike to bond with his son, but neither is interested in connecting and just wants to get their name cleared. They come upon a trailer park and try to swipe clothes from some randick, but they are discovered and held at gunpoint before Armando wrecks a truck and gets them out of there. After driving back into Miami, the truck breaks down. Mike calls a contact named Tabitha and agrees to meet at club in exchange for guns, clothes, and a vehicle. When they get there, Tabitha pretends to help them but is only stalling to get other gangsters in there to bring the three out of the bounty. Just as they are taken outside, rival gangsters come to shoot the captured gangsters, including Manny the Butcher, who wants to get back at Mike for smashing his hand with a meat hammer. Mary's ambitions are short-lived as the guys board a van and crash Manny into another car, and he then gets hit with a Molotov cocktail. The three drive away and shoot at the incoming gangster, but Judy also pursues and tries to fire at Armando. The three then jump from the van as the engine catches fire and explodes. Mike, Marcus and Armando make their way to Don's place, where they find that he is in a secret relationship with Kelly. While they are none too happy about helping Armando, they agree to help Mike and Marcus go through tons of evidence so that Armando can identify McGrath. They eventually manage to get somewhere after defending him on surveillance footage. Don digs up McGrath's history, learning that he and his team were taken hostage by the cartel, and they gave him up after being tortured, leaving him as the only survivor. Mike contacts Rita and tells her about McGrath. Moments later, the guys see through Don's security cameras in both their houses that McGrath has sent guys to get Christine as well as McGrath's family. While Mike tries to contact Christine, Marcus gets in touch with Reggie and warns him about the incoming threat. Reggie gets Teresa, Megan, and later Marcus somewhere hidden while he grabs his gun and puts his combat firearm skills to good use, taking out 15 goons and keeping the family safe, and finally earning Marcus' respect. Meanwhile, Christine is visited by Kelly, who wanted to offer help in proving Mike and Marcus' innocence, but McGrath goons have already made their way inside. McGrath contacts Mike and let him know that he will return Christine and Kelly unarmed if he gives up Armando and all of Howard's evidence. Armando is willing to turn himself in, but Mike has another idea since he knows who has been feeding McGrath information on of their whereabouts. Mike calls Rita again while she is with Lockwood to tip her off. She tells him she is going to the station, but he insists on going with her. As they go down the elevator, Rita confirms that Lockwood is working with McGrath. Lockwood attempts to kill her, but Kelly and Don arrive just in time and take him down. They get Lockwood to talk long enough to give up the motive, profiting from cartel association, to skin his vice and have Mike set up a call posing as Lockwood to McGrath to meet up. Mike tells Marcus, Armando, Rita, Kelly, and Don that they are the only ones that each other can trust right now. The heroes arrange to meet the villains at a former alligator park, said to be home to a huge albino alligator named Duke. They have a plane drive to bring McGrath out with Christine and Kelly. But while Mike has a shot on McGrath, he starts to have another panic attack and fears he might hit Christine. They get us in the water, then starts to become close to Armando's location, which clues McGrath to someone being nearby. Before one goon can spot him, Armando shoots at him before he falls in the water and gets eaten by the gators. Mike goes after McGrath and Christine while Lockwood makes an escape attempt. The other engage in a shootout with McGrath guys. Lockwood tries to hijack the plane for himself, but Rita shoots us down and has the plane crash into the building. Lockwood shoots Don in the arm and tries to shoot Rita, but she kicks him into a pit that happens to be where Duke resides and Lockwood becomes Duke Dinner. Meanwhile, Armando keeps Kelly safe from Macrae's other goons and kills them before taking her to safety. At the same time, Mike snipes out of his panic attack while he sees his own vision of Captain Howard, telling him to forgive himself for thinking it was his fault that Howard got killed. Marcus ends up on the same beach he saw in the vision, only for McGrath to catch him. Mike gets to them and McGrath orders him to choose between Marcus or Christine to die. Mike shoots Marcus in his vest to get a clear shot at McGrath, pumping him full of lead before finally blowing his brain out. Jody then fights Armando and prepares to execute him, but Celie stands in the way and tells Jody that he saved her life. Judy relevants and lets Armando go, and Mike helps Armando find a way to get out. As authorities come to the crime scene and arrest McGrath's surviving goons, news reports state that Howard has fully been extradited. Mike, Marcus, and their loved ones gather at the park of Abraboca, while Mike and Marcus argue over who cooks what on the grill. Reggie pranks his chicken and asks if he can grill. The bad boys laugh him off a moment before remembering that Reggie killed McGrath, Hitchman, and saved the family, so that they agree to back after time. Reggie then gives a satisfied smile. Now let's talk about the main cast biography. The first one is Will Smith, born September 25, 1968, Pennsylvania. USN is an American actor and a musician whose charisma and quick wit helped him transition from rap music to a successful career in acting. Smith's notable films include the blockbuster Bad Boys, Independence Day, and Men in Black. For his work in King Richard, he received the Academy Award for Best Actor. Smith was given the nickname Prince Charming in high school, which he adapted to Fresh Prince in order to reflect more hip-hop sound when he began his musical career. He formed an alliance with soulmate and DJ Jeffrey Tones, whom he met in 1981. They began recording as DJ Jazzy F and the Fresh Prince and released their first single Girls Is Not Nothing But Trouble in 1986, later followed by the album Rocket the House. In 1988, the group released the groundbreaking single Parents Just Don't Understand, which went on to win a Grammy Award, the first Grammy ever presented in the rap performance category. Smith's acts, notable for its wide crossover appeal, was something characterized as light rap because of the lack of hardcore lyrics and themes in these compositions. Platinum certified recording and accompanying videos subsequently brought him to the attention of television producers. The television sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which began in 1990, was loosely based on Smith's real-life persona. Its ran on NBC for 6 successful seasons, ending at the star's request, and during its run Smith generated 2 Golden Globe Award nominations and serves as an executive producer for the final season. Buoyed by this small screen success, Smith expanded into cinema with Where the Day Takes You, 1992. The first landing role was in the film version of John Gott's successful stage play 6 Degrees of Separation in 1993. The action comedy thriller Bad Boys, 1995, however, proved to be a turning point in his film career. While the movie was not a critical success, it made more than $1,000 million worldwide. Providing Smith's star power in 1996, he started his that year's top-grossing movie Independence Day. He was a hit at the box office again the next year with the science fiction top-grossing movie comedy Men in Black, for which he also recorded the Grammy-writing title song. Sequel to the film appeared in 2002 and 2012. Also in 1997, Smith released his first solo album, Big Willie Style, which included the hit Getting Gaggy With, and he followed it for 2 years later, The William Bing. After starting in the dramatic thriller Enemy of the State 1998, Smith continued to demonstrate his remarkable versatility as an actor, playing an enigmatic golf caddy in The Legend of Bigard Vance 2000, the boxer Muhammad Ali in the biopic Ali 2001, for which he received an Academy Award nomination. a cop from the near future in iRobot 2004, and a dead doctor helping a romantically inspect man find love in Hitch 2005. The next year he started in The Pursuit of Happiness, and his performance as a single father who overcome adversity earned him a second Oscar nomination for the Best Actor. In I Am Legend 2007, Smith appears as a scientist who is perhaps the last human on Earth following an epidemic. Hancock 2008 features Smith as a superhero trying to revamp his unpopular image, and in 7 Pounds 2008 he played a man seeking redemption after accidentally killing 7 people in a car accident. Smith later starred alongside his son Jade in the science fiction epic After Earth 2013. He was based on an idea he convinced. In 2015, Smith portrays a con artist in the thrill Focus and the doctor who discovered the epidemic of chronic trauma spology CTE among NFL players in the confusion. In 2016, he played by assassin Deadshot in the action series Suicide Squad and a grieving father in Collateral Beauty. The following year, he started as a police officer in the Netflix action film Brighty, which is set in a Los Angeles inhabited by humans and mythical creatures. Smith then was cast as the genie in the family comedy Aladdin in 2019. He played 2 roles in Gemini Man 2019, a retired assassin and his younger clone. The latter, a digital recreated version of Smith, is his 20s. Smith other credited from 2019 including the animated Spies in Disguise, in which he supplies the voice of spy who is turned into a pigeon. Smith then started in Bad Boys for Life 2020, a sequel to his 1995 breakout movie. In 2021, Smith took the title role in King's Richard, a biopic about the father of tennis stars Serena and Venus Williams. For his appearances, Smith received the Oscar of Best Actor in 2022. However, his win was partly overshadowed by an accident during the ceremony, when comedian Chris Rock made a joke about Smith's wife, actress Jake Pinkett Smith, married 1997. Smith took offense. He walked on stage and smacked Rock, then swore at him. Smith subsequently apologized to Rock. Later in 2022, Smith started in Atonement for Cause Extermination, a drama that set during the American Civil War. Smith played an enslaved man who flies the brutality of a Confederate railroad cap. 2 years later, he appeared in Bad Boys Ride or Die. Smith continued his recording career with the albums Born to Pain 2002 and Lost and Found 2005, but they failed to match the success of his previous releases. In addition, in the early 21st century, Smith served as a producer for several films, including some in which he acted, and his wife he helped create and produce the sitcom All of Us 2003 to 2007. In 2018, he hosted the documentary TV series on Strange Rock about Earth. Smith's memoir, Will Written, The Mark, was released in 2021. Our second main character is Jacob Montaz Scipio. Born 10 January 1993, is an English actor and writer from London. In 2020, he played villain Armando Artis in the action comedy Bad Boys for Life, directed by Adil El Arbi and Bela Fala, and starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. In 2016, Siki co-founded SPO Corporation. In this time, he was written and started in The Writers Group 2018 and Cowboys and Angels 2016, short films that premiere at the Gainscourt, Marriage and London screening at the British Film Industry. Scipio's acting career started in television with leading role in Some Girls BBC as The Bell Rings Disney and White Teeth Channel 4, Education, Early Life and Career. Scipio was born in Alexandra, London, England, and has Genesis and English ancestry. Scipio attended St. Michael Church of England Primary School in Highgate, then continues his studies as for Smith School in Holmeston Hill, going on to complete his education at the University of Essex. when he was awarded with a Bachelor of Art in Film and Literature. Sikipu's acting career began when he landed his first role at the age of 9 months in an episode of the Screen One series entitled Bomino Mayo, played the adopted son of Julie Walter. Throughout his studies, he continues to act, starting in a number of lead roles in television, film, and theatre, including the Channel 4 adaptation of Zadie Smith's White Teeth, where at age 10 he played the roles of twin brothers Millet and Maggot. He continues to act appearances at Roger and Hammerstein The King and I Am Princess Hokal opposite Aline Page at the London Palladium. Film and television career. In 2008, Sikipu played the role of Pip in the second series of As the Bell Rings. His next role comes in the form of the Carviter is the popular CB News quiz where he hosts to show the commands on the race. Sikipu then went on the star to the 2012 live in the show production Undefeated, a HIV awareness campaign that was screened at the 2012 Cannes Film Festival in the short film corner. In 2016, he played the role of Taylor Payne in the second series of the hit BBC Three comedy Some Girls. Other roles include Lavish in CBC's Taxi and Thomas Hompton, a Shakespearean ghost in the Danny Castle. When arrived on 1 September 2015, he was released in 2014. Voiceover work. Jack voiceover the character Lou in the British television on the Metal 2015 series of Bob the Builder. He has also voiced commercials for brands including Coca-Cola, 7-Up, Sniger, Mark, Toyota, and is also voiceover of the Esquiva channel. Bad Boys Ride or Die has hit another domestic milestone at the box office, officially reaching the top 5 highest grossing films of 2024 after almost a month in theater. The fourth installment follows Mike Lowery as Mel Smith and Marcus Burnett as Martin Lawrence, on the run after being framed from a crime they never committed. With positive reviews for its action and humor, Bad Boys Ride or Die became a smash hit at the global box office thanks to the quality on display. Now Collider reports that Boss Boy Ride or Die has reached a domestic milestone, becoming the 5th highest grossing movie domestically in 2014. The Knox Farmer contended Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes off the list, putting the movie around $24 million short of Kung Fu Panda 4. As of writing, the buddy cop movie has made $336.5 million at the global box office against a $100 million budget. Given how high a box office the movie has managed to earn, it wouldn't be surprising if a potential Bad Boys 5 were announced at some point in the future. Bad Boys Ride or Die story delivered a familiar yet unique adventure for its core character, offering plenty of funny moments alongside harrowing action sequences. The movie's biggest strength is its lead character, who return as their classic cop duo elevates the film because of their chemistry. Thanks to their natural ability to work in tandem with one another during action scenes and funny moments, the duo's journey wakes up a hilarious and sometimes emotional new mission. It also helps the movie is not afraid to embrace the style of the first two, delivering wild action sequence reminders of Michael Bay's classic trilogy. This is thanks to director Adil El Arbi and Bilal Farla, whose detailed action choreography plenty often out exciting moments throughout the film. In addition, other classic characters beyond Mike and Marcus are allowed to shine, giving the film its own identity while simultaneously paying tribute to the past installments. The mix makes it feel unique and familiar at the same time, a key component to its success. Given how high a box office movie has managed to earn, it wouldn't be surprising if a potential Bad Boys 5 were announced at some point in the future. If that same level of success can be attributed to another movie, which it could end up revitalizing the franchise, setting the stage of many an adventure to come. With Bad Boys Ride or Die likely to continue earning as its theatrical run continue, another milestone could be in the near future. Bad Boys Ride or Die reviews. Bad Boys Ride or Die is the fourth film in the Bad Boys franchise and the second to the director by two Belgian boys who go by Adil and Bilal. Professionally, I guess we have the Daniels to blame for this kind of collective billing. Given Michael's producer credit and his conspicuous comeback in the movie's one gather that they have his seal of approval. Crazy is how many bystanders at 60 years old men with Prince Valiant haircuts in the Bad Boys universe. Everything about Bad Boys' positions was worthy by a successor. Just as with most of Bay's movies, Bad Boys Ride or Die's main quality is looking expensive. Not necessarily dramatic or funny or exciting, but contently costly. Professional, they may not have a great taste or fresh idea, but it's obvious that they are spared no expenses. And so you feel pampered in some way, like you have just been served as lavish dinner and it's not the greatest thing you have ever eaten, but there's a caveat so you know you are really living. Bad Boys Ride or Die actually works. It's not a thrilling action film or hilarious comedy by any scratch, but it's a fun enough time for its self-selecting audience who pay to see a Bad Boys movie, which include me mostly out of duty after we devoted a whole month to Martin Lawrence movies on the thwart cause. Just when it starts to get a little boring and alligator shows up in the third act. Eat your heart out, John Peters. In fact, Arden and Bilal Sam, if anything, a little more willing than Bay was to embarrass Sherlock and go full boom movies, retaining Bay's maximum without some of the possibility. It's a small tweak, but it's nice. Bay, of course, got its start in commercial. The Aaron Bear got Wilk, the most commercial in the 90s. No matter how big his budget got or how long his runtime, he was still essentially directing commercials. Commercial involves storytelling, but the main goal is to make the producer seem cool and shiny and luxurious. I have never been one of those die-hard Bad Boys fans. The first two for me are not that great despite the chemistry between the leads and some memorable action scenes. Bad Boys for Life, the third entry in the franchise, really surprised me through. So much that I was on board for the fourth one, which really should have been called that the third one is, but instead called Bad Boys Ride or Die. Does this fourth entry hit the same high for me as the previous entry did? Let's find out. Bad Boys for Life takes place a few years after the events of the third film and sees Will Smith's Mike Lowery getting married to his physical therapist who was treating him between films. It's a great turn for events for Mike, who's always been an emotional distance and more of a playboy gunshot character throughout the series. At the wedding, however, his parent Marcus Burnett suffers a heart attack. These two events lead to the biggest change in the franchise. With this near-death experience, Marcus discovers a new appreciation for life and becomes way more outward and carefree, while Mike finds himself suffering from panic attack while in gunfights out of fear, as he is now has something to lose. One of these switches works really well. Which of them doesn't? I found Marcus being a carefree groove was where most of the comedy was rooted, but most of the humor didn't work for me. We have known this character for so long since in 90s, and to shouldn't roll reverse does make sense on paper, but in execution it didn't work for Marcus, as he is a family man always far more cautious and practical. Having a heart attack and still being on the hunt for candy throughout the film because Marcus believes he can't die doesn't really work. The whole shift caused aspect of the movie to come off a more immature than intended, and considering the Bad Boys are in their 50s now, it feels like a step backward. In fact, most of the humor that did work as Mike's reaction to Marcus' shenanigans. But Mike suffering from panic attacks is a great bit of character development. Mike has always been on to break the rules and leave to giant mess in his fake. And now to have been in a position where he has to think about the well-being of someone he loves, of someone that he is welcome into his own life, changes things for him. He is way more reserved and deliberate, and seeing him literally break down in the middle of shout-out humors Mike in a way he feels logical and relatable. While all this is going on through Bad Boys are out of frame, Captain Howard planting evidence that he's been working with the cult ever since 2003. So it's up to Mike and Marcus with the help of Mike and credited son Armando to stop the people driving Harvard and save the day. Of course, things go quite as planning as the Bad Boys find themselves operating as fugitive outside of the law, while Howard's daughter, played by Better Call Saul's Rhea Seehorn, hunts them down, comparison to the fugitive as expected. While the comedy didn't really work for me in this one element that did really work was the action. Returning directors Adil and Bilal really leveled up their action cinematography at this time around, using some creative camera tricks and staging to make some entertained action sequences. Bearing a first-person action scene near the end which feel like a weird video game thanks to some person perspective shoots during a shot out. There are also many practical effects during these action scenes, including old school bloodscape, which was nice to see in an age of digital trickery. The camera, the sets, and the vibrant color really stood out to me as entertaining. I also shout out to Riggy, who has been in franchise since Bad Boys 2 and has always been on the receiving of the end of Mike and Marcus taunts. Riggy gets the best action scenes in the movie. In the end, Bad Boys Ride or Die is not good as its posters. I'd say, but it's not bad or anything. It's one of those dumb fun summer movies where you shut your brain off and just roll with it, and overall, it's a pretty entertaining in that respect. It very much feels like a movie from the early 2000s or late 90s, and it's nice to see that an R-rated action buddy cop movie can still get made. It unfortunately was not that funny, and I wasn't too crazy about how Marcus was portrayed in this one. But his overall story and instigation were fun enough, not bad but also not missing. The verdict is in, and Bad Boys Ride or Die is getting mixed reviews. 54 on Metacritic and 69% on Rotten Tomatoes. If you ask me, critics are being too kind to this one. 2020's Bad Boys for Life, and assertive as the filmmaker might have been, was semi-watchable and actually had some symbolic of a plot. The same director Adil and Bilal are back of Bad Boys Ride or Die. Yes, detectives Mike Lowery, Miles Smith, and Marcus Burnett as Martin Lawrence are still the same triggered happy Miami cops but are now the most wanted men in America. They have been framed. What passes the plot result is loud, dumped, and violence rehash of the first three movies. It's all slickly delivered via the usual explosives and endless drawn shots that popular this franchise. At least we get a helicopter hijacks at Poet Pro Physics. Ditto a shout out to an alert gallery that's breezy silly in its Frenchial prospectiveness. There's also a tongue-in-cheek reference to Smith's famous Oscar help slip in a cowardly brilliant way. In short of words, I will not say more, and it wouldn't be a Bad Boys movie without a new scene involving Mormon clad. Sure, the chemistry between Smith and Lawrence has its moment, but it feels tired recycling jokes and ideas that have been worn out. The best moment of the entire movie has nothing to do with Smith or Lawrence. It's when Marcus' son-in-law Riggy is confronted by bad boys during a chemically drowned out home invasion. In the end, this plays like a greatest hit package. Chris Penner and Will's Ball script is poor trash. It's also very action movie trap in the book and recycled it for thrills and laugh. This time around, the jokes between Lawrence and Smith don't work. They come out as feeling forced and unfunny. Smokers has infected their performance. They are also pleased with the panic stick. Adil and Bilal are now the same, shall we say, inventive too, mostly influenced by Michael Boy's fantastic style of action behind. There's not a single shot in the movie that lasts more than a few seconds. Now let's talk about the full cast and crew of Bad Boys Ride or Die 2024. Will Smith as Mike Lowery, Vanessa Hudgens as Kelly, Paula Nunes as Rita, Lon Goffard as Lockport, Melanie Leopard as Christine, Rhea Seehorn as Jody, Joe Portolino as Captain Howard, John Sally as Fletcher, Dennis Greeny as Reggie, Martin Lawrence as Marcus Burnett, Alexander Lockwood as Dawn, Eric Gain as McCrath, Jacob Skipow as Armando, Tasha Tamit as Theresa, Jeffy Haddish as Tabitha, DJ Khaled as Manny, Bianca Bethon as Megan, Quinn Hempel as Kelly, Derek Rosso as Linz, Levitron as Wolf, Jeff JJ Authors as Phil the Drunk Pilot, Steven Seagal as the banker, Lorena Ramos as banker's girlfriend, James Lee Thomas thief, Jason Davis Grice, Baria Primer nurse, Nathan Hesse trailer park, Blanca Godford woman in car, Adriana Sherry reporter cop, Marine Cobbett as neutral, Dwight Turner as newscaster, Rob Morse as analyst, Michael Bay as park driver, Kenny Brown as Brett's mate, Christopher Koch as McGrath henchman, Journey Akapas as Caden Park, Trico Flintown as Miami PD officer, Khabe Lim as Khabe Lim, Kesey Shelton as Tabitha's crew, Talfail Lister as gang member, Mike Guzman as detective, Alan Marguerite as wedding guest, Jackson A. Compass as Caden Park, Kevin Brown as McGrath hitchman, Alexa Becca as Beach Gomor, Bobby Hernandez as sniper, Gina Canel as Nicole, Aston Carter as newscaster, Jenner Lucas as gang leader, Jasmine Lawrence as reporter Jason, Jesse Milknowski as trailer park redneck, Alex Jospik Paris as paramedic, Ahmed Lucon as doctor, Jay Shetty police complaint, Noah King convenience store clerk, Jerry Tubbs banker's wife, Nicholas Verdi hijack pilot, J. Devon Jason as Russ Brown, Carter Reese Newsom as Litter Marcus, Cohen Hemphill as Kelly, Bianca Bethon as Megan. Produced by Jeff J.J. Authors as associate producer, Chris Benermer as executive producer, John K. Campbell as associate producer, Susan Enrhard as associate producer, Martin Lawrence as executive producer, John Bone as executive producer, Chad Oman as producer, Ryan Shimazaki as associate producer, Mike Stepson as executive producer, Barry H. Weldon as executive producer, Mark DeBrock as executive producer, Will Smith as producer PGA, Melson Reid as associate producer, Shannon O'Neill as executive producer, Stancy Lice as associate producer, James Lister as associate producer, Daniel Dremra as associate producer, Jerry Bruckmeier as producer PGA, Ruff Pilgord as producer PGA. Sound department, Kyle Arts as re-recording mix technician Sony Pictures, Kite Basket as sound utility Miami, Aaron Bernice as sound utility second unit, Charles German as bomb operator, Warren Hendrick as surprising sound editor, Bimo Kishwara as surprising foley editor, Tony Liberty as sound effect editor, George V. Lupis as sound utility second unit Miami, Whit Norris as production sound mixer, Rarefied as sound mixer, Mike Skimmed as sound mixer, Steven Technord as supervising sound editor, Levant Tasmendi as assistant foley editor, David Bobolik as first assistant sound editor, Greg Crawford as ADR mixer, Cort Logan as boom operator day player, Edik M. Maroon as bomb operator, Liliani Jones as audio description narrator, Kevin Kirchai as boom operator, David Rentz as sound designer, Robert Troy as dialogue editor, Matthew A. Thompson as sound utility, Alexander Sankins as foley editor, Kevin O'Neill as re-recording mixer, John Miskew as playback operator, Georgie Lixie as foley mixer, San Kun Kim as dialogue editor, Ryan Jangler as dialogue editor, Bill Corogles as foley artist, David Esparza as sound designer, Soderberg as production assistant, The Bibblesui as foley coordinator. Now let's talk about visual effects. The visual effects by Karithik Adipu as compositor, Felix Arsenault as lead acid artist, Tim Babe as digital pet painter, Chanel Barbosa as visual effect producer coordinator, Ryan Baza as second artist, Rabi Brisford as third artist, Rendharek Toka as third artist, Daniel Kai as visual effect editor, Claudia Coppa as second artist, Becky Covington as visual effect producer, Brad Dampfont as second fastest, Joseph DeVincenzo as second artist, Maximo Dottingly as compositor, Clinton Downs as third artist, Brad Downs as second artist, Brandon Andy as visual effect data, Kathleen Ferrier as second artist, Bay Gamer as visual effect assistants, Peter Gabrielti as head of animation, Lindsay Grant as visual effect producer, Jim Hogarty as rescott and paint supervisor, Sound Hedges as visual effect designer, Jack Hartis as visual artist, Ina Etrick as lightning supervisor, Levin Carpane as third editor, Ali Kennedy as visual production designer, Ashley Kazan as CG artist 0 VFX, Nathan Lane as visual effect lead, Jean Lepont as visual effect supervisor, Miranda Light as second artist, Andrew Lochan as visual effect editor, Will Meaning as head of production, James McCarthy as second artist Studio Blackwood, Jonathan McFall as CG department manager, Oscar Medina as visual effect lead, Christian Marine as compositor, Payolka Nadinder Kumar as second artist, Minkon Nigwan as third artist, Matt V. Printy as visual effect editor, Draw Xperson as visual effect data wrangle, Shane Bullock as visual effect supervisor, Laura Postlethwaite as visual effect editor, Christine Pale as visual effect production manager, Emiliano Richard as second artist, Michael Rose as visual effect production manager, Garita Dolvate as visual effect producer, Kevin Smart as composer, Terry Samitsu as visualizing artist, Tim Silby as FX supervisor, Ankur Singh as third artist, Carrie Stolla as visual effect production manager, Ryan Trepans as compositing supervisor, Ian Winkhair as second artist, Sergio Vlogs as lead tracking artist, Megan Weishart as visual effect artist, Daniela William as visual effect assistants, Mariela Alfaro as visualizing artist, Bobby Breton as compositor, Aaron Carino as IT technician, Christopher Cheng as compositor, Chang Cho as visual effect producer, Folia Feldman as compositor, Dustin Heining as composer, Chris Pelfam as videographer, Rosa Ling as production support, David McCord as digital make painter, Arnan Minar as visual effect producer, Stewart Kirwan as sport and preparation finalist, Brian Hollian as visual effect executor, Brian Hensey as compositor, David Atten as CGL visual effect, Vishal Darsha as compositors, Sion Minchui as Mightwash movie artist Screen X, Hunter Chase as compositor, Dan Price as CG artist, Mathia Borgonon as visual effect editor, Jonathan Williams as visual effect lead, Jenny Vogel as visualization coordinator, Michael J. Vera as composition supervisor, Rick Van D. Komal as visual effect supervisor, Chris Soundick as visual effect supervisor, Jacques Suk Jonu as third editor, Ranan Siddhartha as second editor, Naveen Chokla as second artist, Lee Sandiford as second artist, Bharat Sambarwal as third artist, Nathan Roll as third artist, Brad Bobby as second artist, Jeremy Park as CJ supervisor, Nick Finzoni as visual effects supervisor, Zaria Patterson as third artist, Adam Patterson as second artist, Mark Newsom as CJ supervisor, Samuel Mott as third artist, Kath Mori as head of department Roto Paint, Framework Milbrini, Max Mulcahy as second artist, Molly M. Scale as visual effect data wrangle, Trisha Matthew as visual effect producer, Dennis Mani as CG artist, Michael Lothar as compositor, Peter Lee as tracking artist frame store. Music department, Abby Abdelkhalik as musician, Spring Espers as executive music producer, Rob Boyd as music editor, Nicole Jocazette as music preparation, Jeremy Ernest as orchestrator, Adele LRP as vocalist, Nick Glenn Smith as conductor, Gabe Hiffan as music supervisor, Aaron Mayer as music preparation, Kevin Triple as additional music composed, Stuart Michael Thomas as additional music composed by musician guitar, Booker White as supervising copyist, Julian Hoffman Biku as musician, W.F. Smith Lawson as music technical assistants, Peter Rotters as orchestra conductor, David Phillipson as musician, Neely as music manager, Carl Zine as composer, Henry Van Roden as music coordinator, Peter Rotten as conductor, Eva Rester as score recorded and mixer, Martin McLeod as music preparation, Declaney coordinator as musician, Ethan Gillespie as composer, Jaron Angstein as orchestra, Leonard Chong as musician, strings, Brandon Campbell as addition music composed, Laura Pelfy as vocalist, Max Aduj as additional music composer. Now let's talk about the editorial department of Bad Boys Ride or Die 2024. Afsara Elvi as apparentic editor, John Disu as finishing editor, Devon Harding as assistant editor, Matthew W. Johnson as finishing editor, Dons McHale King as first assistant editor, Alan Oswinoff as first assistant editor, Craig W. Smith as first assistant editor, Megan M. White as finishing producer, Ben Hodbeno as productive manager, Georgie Klingard as editorial producer, Levi Hodgson as marketing producer, Brenda Rosser as head of editorial, Griffin Hicks as device operator, Hunter Fornage as Delius overflow specialist, Raymond Kelson as lead device operator, Carly Wingsman as device choralist, Stephen Sonnenfeld as colorist, Scott Solomon as device producer, Adam Norsreko as additional colorist, John B. Kim as assistant editor, Laura Hallman as finishing producer, Siggy Faisal as additional colorist, Calestrine Dorrell as assistant editor. Now let's talk about the additional crew. Javier Alvarez as medic, Coca F.A. as additional board captain, Sarah Arvanite as production assistants, Carmen Ardeniro as carpenter, Johanna Bardia as travel secretary, Steve Blacker as office production assistants, Thomas Bianco as financial controller, Wilbur Grove as ADR Loop Group, Nanny Pond as Key Craft Service Miami, Kadeem Bradel as Healthy and Safety Production Assistants, Gisalia Santres Toro as Production Assistants, Ares Caltinos as Additional Set Producer Assistants, Christopher Chamberlain as Scotty M. Lawrence, Nikki Christies as Additional Production Assistants, 2nd Unit Miami, Zach Collin as Additional Production Assistant 2nd Unit, Andrew Corain as Additional Background Assistants, Ella Davita as 2nd Assistant Accountant, Jennifer Davis as 2nd Assistant Accountant Additional Photography, Kyle B. Kraut as Key Protection Assistants, Jet Flora Wilson as payroll clerk, Christian Gig as production assistants, Deora Hall as production assistants, Caroline Hendrick as assistant Mr. Bockheimer, Molly Honia as assistant production coordinator, CJ Jackson as production assistants, Jutimsa Pensy as production secretary, RF Eskins as additional vices, Satan Lidbetter as medic, Amanda Lowery as assistant Mr. Brockheimer, Daniel F. Malone as marine coordinator, Franska Maria as assistant Mr. Milgard. Stunts: Michael Andrea Adams stunt double, Paul Aladny precious driver, Chick Berhond stunt driver, Rustic Bogmovs stunts, Amanda Bradley stunt driver, Paul Parkey as scuba safety, Steve Brown stunts, Mark Carnozzo stunts, Jeff Pace stunt performer, Alvin Chon stunts, Brander Cornell stunts, Gio Carvera stunts, Dan Cornell stunt diver, Drake De La Riva's water safety, Rocky Rigichiar stunt rigger coordinator, Stephen Efemian stunts, Simeon Freeman stunts, Daniel Graham fight team stunt double Will Smith, Chase Grosky stunt driver, Carla Scotty stunts, Evie Harrelson stunt driver, Bobby Hyde stunts, Nate Hibson stunts, Hobby Jam stunts, Kerry A. Cavan fight coordinator, Gina Connell stunts, Ben Jackman stunts double Anik Dane, Scott Hunter stunt double, Jason Corner Sills water safety, Aaron Haas stunts, Cliff Guzman stunts performer, Dustin Nicholson stunts, Kelly Murillo stunts, Richa Nunez stunts trigger, CJ Pedero stunts, Gary Prebal stunts, Josh Petro stunts, Greg Pejman stunts, Rick Rumenton supervising stunts coordinator, Step Horn Rocker stunt double Martin Lawrence, Drake Gosso stunts, Brandon M. Shaw fight team stunts double Martin Lawrence, Steven Shelby stunts, Dina Stano stunt driver, Devin Stovall stunts, Van Underbrook Stroke stunt performer, Christopher Bondersky Shore fight team, Justin Stake stunts, Granger Samresher stunt double, Taylor Chechefani stunt driver, Hawk Walton stunt double Nathan Hesse, Mitchell Warren stunts, Kevin Waterman stunt driver, Kyle Oakley Zepernick stunts, Justin T. Woods water safety, Todd Warren stunt coordinator second unit, Geoff Watt prescient designer, Nicholas Verdi stunt performer, Mark Taylor stunt performer, Justin Stretch stunt, Wyatt Underwood stunt. Bad Boys Ride or Die ending explain. Bad Boys Ride or Die ending resolves several lagging plot threads from previous movies and underscores a major theme that's carried over from the previous entry in the series. The fourth film in the Bad Boys series, the film reunites Will Smith and Martin Lawrence as Mike and Marcus, a pair of Miami Police Department detectives. Each of the films in the series has featured absorbs action with the pair dispatching hundreds of nameless criminals over the years. 15 years passed between the second and third films, The Bad Boys for Life, highlighting how new generations of cops like Vanessa Hudgens Carey and Alexander Logwin Dorn can help them going forward. 5 years later, Bad Boys Ride or Die's character discovers some quietly big retcon in the history of the series, revealing the Captain Howard death in The Bad Boys for Life was connected to the secretive plot that's been controlling Miami for years. In the process, Mike and Marcus also get the chance to confront more complicated and personal dilemmas, such as Mike's relationship with his son Armando and Marcus' brush with death. Although the film resolves most of these plots by the end of the film, Bad Boys Ride or Die also quietly teases potential direction for the future film in the series, getting up the future for the Bad Boy franchise. Bad Boys Ride or Die quietly netcoined two of the previous film in the series, connecting them all through a wide-ranging conspiracy between the drug cartel and the Miami police. One of the big reveals of Bad Boys Ride or Die centers on Lockwood and attorney and James McGrath, a member of the US military. It turns out that the pair have been part of the conspiracy with the cartels, allowing from the transport of drugs into Florida in exchange for their assistance in monitoring the border. While technically done to protect the nation from terrorists in the aftermath of 9/11, the plan ultimately corrupted the authority in Miami. The drug trafficking in the Bad Boys 2 is revealed to have been a part of this conspiracy, as well as Bad Boys for Life's Isabel Arquest. Growing suspicious after the events of Bad Boys 2, it turns out Captain Howard spent years looking into the conspiracy. This was the true reason he was put on Isabel's hit list, leading to his death at the hands of Armando in the Bad Boys for Life. The revelation connects all the films into an overreaching conspiracy that used the power of the police and the military to further the drug trade in Miami. This also makes McGrath and Lockwood two of the Bad Boys franchise's biggest overreaching villains. Armando was introduced in Bad Boys for Life, the chief assassin for his mother's Isabel. It turns out he is also Mike's illegal mate. At the end of Bad Boys for Life, Armando thought his father was ultimately arrested for his crimes. Armando plays an important role in Bad Boys Ride or Die, or he is only one who can identify McGrath and help unspool the conspiracy in the Miami PD. Much of the film's second follows Armando as he, Mike, and Marcus try to reach the city to uncover the truth. In the film's climax, Armando works alongside with Mike and his allies in armor to bring down McGrath, getting himself severely wounded but surviving the ensuing fight. Having saved Howard's granddaughter Kelly in the process, Armando earns an unexpected bribe from Kelly's wingful mother Judy. This gives Mike the chance to help Armando escape, having found common ground and prove Armando is capable of redemption. Mike allows Armando to escape to potentially continue on more heroic path. Armando could potentially take charge in future series, returning to Mike's life or possibly even carrying out his own out of justice elsewhere. Mike's willingness to let Armando escape speaks to his faith in his son and his chances for redemption. Early in Bad Boys Ride or Die, Marcus suffers a nearly fatal heart attack at Mike's wedding. This causes the character to see a series of visions that affects him for the rest of the life, even convincing him he is become financially invisible because it's not time yet. One of the most important of these visions focuses on Howard, who Marcus sees standing next to a tree and a parrot on the beach. This is when Howard seems to tell Marcus death has not come for him yet. They ends up serving as a portent of the final of the film, where Marcus discovers a similar tree and parrot before being caught by McGrath. Forced to choose between McGrath killing Marcus or his wife Teresa, Mike realizes that Marcus believes his unscalable was teasing this moment, shooting Marcus non-fatality in the police vest. Mike is able to surprise McGrath long enough to shoot the villain multiple times. Marcus survives the ending of the film, but singly comes to terms with his mortality again while insulting Mike for his decision to sue him to save the daily. How Bad Boys Ride or Die set a sequel. Bad Boys Ride or Die ends a legally optimistic note for the main characters. With Marcus and Mike reunite with their families safe and sound, Mike doesn't know what's become of Arnaldo. His role in the film's climax and his farewell indicate that the character will remain a more heroic figure in the future. A potential sequel could bring back the character and check in on his future endeavor, confirming one way or the one if Mike's hopes for his son are well founded. For AMMO, the ending of Bad Boys Ride or Die is a major victory, with Rita and Don both surviving their brush with death during the final stretch of the movie. However, even with the sacred conspiracy at the heart of the film resolves, there are some lingering aspects of the Bad Boys world that could be addressed in a sequel. Lockwood's public and romantic association with Rita could cast suspicion on her integrity going forward. The cartel alliance with Lockwood and Magreth is now over, meaning that we have come for the final to try and kill. Mike and Marcus are also both confronted with their mortality in the movie, which could be further focused on the follow-up that truly forces them to recon with their age. On of the underlying element of Bad Boys Die or High focuses on legacy and family. They reveal that Howard had secretly been working on an investigation of a decade and a half before his death, highlight the dangerous nature of their work. In each of the film's three primarily parent-child relationships, the elders begins to stand by and trust in their child benefits the world. Mike's faith in Armando is rewarded with the chance to bring down Magreth, Marcus' son-in-law. Tony proves his mettle. He saves Marcus' family, earning him some long-overdue respect from Marcus. Cherry stepping in front of Armando to convince Jody from killing her savior. Each of the instances set up a great good in the long term and prove crucial to both salving the legacy of Howard and revealing the truth about Magreth. It builds off similar theme of new generation realizing their potential in Bad Boys for Life, highlighting how the form of justice that Mike and Marcus fight thrive in others, even as they continue to throw themselves into the line of duty. Bad Boys Ride or Die's ending highlight the value of fighting for the truth of the past alongside future generation is crucial to carry out justice. For fans of the 1990s and 2000s, Bad Boys is one of the most iconic action franchises. The first two movies were directed by Michael Bay, melding high-octane first fights and gun chases with unfiltered comedy. The franchise underwent a revival in 2020 thanks to new directors Adil and Bilal. Now the fourth movie, Bad Boys Ride or Die, bring Will Smith's Mike and Martin Lawrence Marcus back of yet another explosive chapter. In the process, the duo unearth a nasty conspiracy that trail back to their early years with the Miami Police Department. It leads to a chaotic finale that's filled with a lot of death and destruction. In Ride or Die, Mike and Marcus are upset that their deceased Captain Howard is being freed as an accomplice for a mysterious cartel. They know he wouldn't work with criminals, yet the cartel has planted money in his account to say otherwise. Howard does leave videos for this man to follow, revealing there are moles inside their department. In fact, the scandal runs too deep. It involves the FBI, DEA, and Scotty officers in the prison system. Mike and Marcus are also framed as fugitive after trying to protect Mike's son Armando in prison. Fans will recall Armando's working for one arm for the cartel in Bad Boys for Life. He actually shot Howard dead under order from his mother and Mike's ex Isabel. Armando is trying to reform, sensing he can possibly pinpoint who is running the free faming to the guys. Luckily, the heroes have help from Miami's Ammo, Tactical Unit Kelly and Dawn, as well as the captain who replaced Howard, Rita Scarda, who is another one of Mike's exes. Still, every move they make it exposed to the sub-boss of this evil group. James Magreth, it turns out Rita's new flame. Adam Lockwood is the person leaking the intel. He has been close to the case as a viable candidate under the suspicions as he wants to clear Howard's name. As a Magreth, the team discovered he has a former DEA agent the cartel captured daughter and converted to their side. After the 9/11 terrorist attack, members of America's Homeland Security begin working with the cartel to protect the border from foreign tyrants. These security personnel then frame their own cabal, profiting off the drug trade. Mike and Marcus learned that cases from previous movies were extension of the cabal. Howard had to die because his secretive personal investigation was unlocking too many clues. Thankfully, the heroes rankle Lockwood and tried to beg Magreth out to bring Mike's wife, Christine, to plan at Commandant Guitar Park. Bad boys die or right alliance kills Lockwood and Margaret. Margaret becomes suspicious when Lockwood asks to move their leverage on Christine. A firefight breaks out, with Kelly, a weapon expert, using her drones to kill many of the thugs. The rest of the gang chips in, providing much needed firepower. When Rita confronts Lockwood, she realizes she doesn't want to shoot him, but she kicks him into the pond where a guitar devours him. Mikaroth ends up taking Marcus hostage on the beach, but Mike remembers Marcus' past brushes with death. All movie long, Marcus claims he was invincible. Mike's accepted. Shoot his partner in the bulletproof vest, and Marcus drops to the ground. He gets the opening to put a bullet in the Marcus' head. At this point, Marcus reverts to his old self, angry that Mike tested his morality, but that's past and parcel of their report. Marcus makes up convincingly and Mike has to check them. This mission gives Rita everything she needs to clear Howard's name. Mike and Marcus are exonerated and able to return to duty as well. Everyone has put their demons to bed, but they are still uncomfortable knowing this overreaching cartel exists. Unfortunately, they don't have any prisoner alive to help share insights into finding the group and main boss. Bad Boys Die or Die heals Mike's anxiety. A big part of Bad Boys 4 is Mike dealing with panic attacks. He experienced something he never did before in fear. He lost so many loved ones, but now he doesn't want to lose Christine. This weakened his accuracy and left him scared to even snipe enemies out. Mike has never lacked confidence or been in this insecure. Marcus, however, keeps telling him he is made for greatness after visiting the afterlife and getting visions in the wake of a heart attack. To his own credit, Marcus did see Howard and realized they had to be fearless. He is the who once slapped Mike's Pigor to reality and gets him into the warrior made again in the battle. Notability, Mike sees his own ghost of Howard, who tells him to let the guilt go. Mike felt that had he been a better lover to Isabel, maybe he would have known about Armando and raised him right. Thus Howard would be alive. But Mike's process the trauma and grief. He accepts his control everyone's destiny, whose image were not this fault. This emulates Mike in the final fight. When the dust clears, Mike's leave as a mature man. Even Rita spoke fun at him, some saying they had their flying when they were Rush and Javelin. The fact that he saw Christine as his soulmate affected him because he had never fought for that kind of person before. By the conclusion, he knew how to temper his emotions, separating the personal and professional aspect of his life. He has his romantic partner and an extended family with Marcus. So Mike finally feels like he is the man who has made to be by the end of the film. Armando turns out to be an incredible asset in the field. He shows Mike he can be a perfect soldier, working selflessly with ammo. He even protects one of their hostage, Kelly. It's his attempt at redeeming his name and trying to follow in Mike's footsteps. Unfortunately, Kelly's mother Jody, a Jewish marshal, shows up to shoot Armando head. There is a lot of drama in this scene, nodding to when Don Jason Hobbs hunted Damick Prentice crew in the Fast Furious movies. Kelly, however, defends Armando and shields him. She forgives him for killing her grandfather. Jody eventually does the same. Mike realizes the justice system will not even free Armando, so he gives him a second chance. He helps him escape in boat to go start anew. It once more homage Dom being at free by Paul Walker in the Fast and Furious movies. When it's all said and done, Mike knows it is like to experience a rebirth. Armando's base is subdued and devises a fresh start in life. Marcus always wanted them to communicate more and heal their rift, and it happened at last. Armando is grateful for the compassion and empathy shown. Ultimately, Mike is impressed and eternally grateful to see his son being honest and another bad boys who would try or die for him and Marcus when they need it most. The fourth installment of the Bad Boys franchise featuring Will Smith and Martha Lawrence ended with yet another fiery and thrilling adventure as they find themselves trying to solve a controversy resolving drug cartel and Miami's police corruption. The film wraps up several unresolved plot threads from previous movies as the Bad Boy duo reunites again. After 5 years, the new chapter reveals significant recon including Captain Horvath and death part of the secretive plot focuses on Miami. However, Mike and Marcus face personal challenges as Mike's relationship comes into question with his son Armando and a focus on a near-death experience. While the movie resolves many of the storyline, it surely leaves space for potential feature films in the franchise. Ride or Die, Bad Boys, ending explain. The latest chapter of the Bad Boys franchise subtly retconned two previous films by linking them a vast controversy between drug cartel and Miami police. One of the major relationships involved Lockwood and James McRae, who are exposed as part of the cartel conspiracy as they allowed drug transportation in Florida in exchange for their help in monitoring the border. Although the plan was initially made to protect the nation from terrorists after 9/11, it ultimately led to corruption within Miami authorities. Moreover, the movies also reveal that the drugs tracking in Bad Boys 2 with Isabel Arrogant from Bad Boys for Life was part of a larger conspiracy. After the events of Bad Boys 2, Captain Howard becomes suspicious and spends years investigating this conspiracy. This resulting in him being targeted and killed by Armando and Isabel's order. The revelation ties with all the film together through a recurring plot where police and military power were exploited to advance the drug trade in Miami. The core theme of Bad Boys, Ride or Die, are legacy and family. The revelation that Captain Howard was secretly investigating a conspiracy for 15 years before his death highlighted the perilous nature of their work. While the movie's three main parent-child relationships show how the elders' trust in their children benefits the world, Mike's faith in his son Armando helps them to take down McRae. Moreover, Marcus' son-in-law Domini earned his respect by saving his family, and Kelly stepping in front of Armando prevent Jody from killing her savior. Such moments pay off in the long run, salving Hardware legacy and covering the truth about McGrath. The movie was built on theme before, as they remain abducted to their duty. Bad Boys Ride or Die ending bring out the value of fighting for the truth and carrying out justice for future generations. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are as funny as ever in Bad Boys Die or Ride, as they have plenty of great cause to prove this. Ride or Die picks up after 2022's Bad Boys for Life revived the franchise and it sticks to the same beloved formula. Bad Boys Ride or Die is a hit with fans of the franchise and it's also fared surprisingly well at the box office. Smith and Lawrence comedy chemistry is a key reason of this success. The first Bad Boy movie was released in 1995 and Ride or Die is a righteous throwback as an old generation of action blockbuster. It offers simple player but it does so the extreme confidence and charm. It's not hard to be drawn to Smith and Lawrence charisma, and Bad Boys Ride or Die complements with its plenty of infinite action sequences. Some of Ride or Die best quotes don't seem particularly special, but Smith and Lawrence make them hard to forget. You need to deploy. Foggy has come long way since his introduction to the Bad Boys franchise. He first appeared in Ride or Die as Mike Weeding, but he only gets a chance to speak when Marcus returns from the hospital from his heart attack. Marcus accuses Foggy of eating the snakes, not realizing that his wife had hidden them after the doctor suggests that Marcus cut down on sugar, salt and fat. Marcus starts a relationship with Reggie off as a suspicious and protective father. Although Reggie has since become part of his family, he has never dropped the act. Marcus dragged his footy at Faggy, telling him that he needs to get a job. When Reggie reminds him that he is a US Marine, Marcus has a quick comeback at hand. He is ultimately forced to give up and turns his frustration elsewhere when Reggie tells him that he has returned from Yemen. Marcus starts a relationship with Reggie off as a suspicious and protective father. Although Reggie has since become part of this family, has never dropped the act. I shot you in your vest, stop bitching. Mike and Marcus' relationship in the cornerstone of every Bad Boys movies. The plot and the villain are relatively unbearable because fans keep coming back to see Will Smith and Martin Lawrence slinging jokes and kicking ass. Ride or Die gives fans plenty of both, culminating intense standoff between Mike and McGrath, with Marcus between the two men. Mike shoots Marcus in this bulletproof vest to get to McGrath. The dismissive quote also represents how Mike has gotten over the mental block that plagued with throughout Ride or Die. Characteristically, Marcus makes a meal of his injury to the extent that it's hard to tell if he is in real pain at all or he is simply putting on a show. Mike seems to think that he is perfectly fine as he promptly dismisses him. The risky move is more than just a punchline for the movie to end on. It also represents how Mike has gotten over the mental block that plagued him throughout Ride or Die. Earlier, he refuses to take a clear shot at McGrath because if he is killing a hostage later, he is confident enough to back himself. You are all some trouble fucking fugitive. One of the best returning characters in Bad Boys Ride or Die is Armando, the son of Mike, who featured as the main antagonist in Bad Boys for Life. Armando gets a shock at redemption in Ride or Die, as he works alongside his father with Marcus to clear Captain Howard's name and take down the cartel. His criminal know-how ends up being useful to the groups when they have to overrun the law. Armando's and Mike's relationship is one of the most interesting subplots in Ride or Die. Armando's and Mike's relationship is one of the most interesting subplots in Ride or Die despite everything that they have gone through and Armando's past crimes. Mike still shows some responsibility and some affection for Armando, with Marcus accompanying the pair. They have an excuse to have a little bit plot of fun together. Armando feels free to crack a joke with the two men, subjecting that he could bet be part of Mike's life. I cannot die. After this nuclear death experience and the vision of Captain Howard in the afterlife, Marcus adopts a new philosophy. He believes that since the captain told him that it's not his time, he has become immune to all harm. To demonstrate this fact, he moonwalked into traffic giggling. Mike has not been privy to the same wisdom for the beyond, so he frantically chases after Marcus and tries to cover all traffic. This is one of many caught in Bad Boy Ride or Die that would be rather ordinary if not for a brilliant delivery. This is one of the many caught in Bad Boys Ride or Die that would be rather ordinary if not for a brilliant delivery. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith are both on top form and it's a joy to see their dynamic in fully flow. Marcus tells Mike that he cannot die if he is sharing some great spiritual truth that is supposed to blow Mike's mind. From Mike's perspective, they are just the rambling of a man who should still be underwater. Mike has the perfect comeback to shoot down most of Marcus' spiritual talk. After a lengthy and ridiculous monologue from Marcus about how his soul is connected to Mike's throughout eternity, Mike suggests with a wonderfully timed quip that Marcus may have suffered more from his heart attack than fully understand. This doesn't do much to divorce Marcus from his nonsensical ideas. Marcus has not actually been granted any higher knowledge. He is just doing what he thinks people tend to say after a close brush with teeth. Be gone, guitar, I rebuke you. Marcus seems to decide that this past far to spiritual alignment has given him to gift for dominion over all nature. When given the option of reaching down for Mike's gun to Peter a hungry lighter, he chooses instead to issue a command to the lighter. His biblical language really seals his self-righteous promptity, and is another example of how his new philosophy is a lazy remix of older ideas. It takes being attacked by an eliter and shot in the chest by Mike for Marcus to finally abandon his newfound worldwide. It's a language barrier. It was English. Kelly and Dawn both returned to the franchise after their appearances in Bad Boy for Life. This time they have developed a romance in the background, and they are together when Mike and Marcus go to Dawn for help. This is surprise to the duo, but they don't see is any kind of problem. The only issue arrives when Armando walks in, since Kelly and Dawn don't realize that they has become an ally. Kelly and Dawn both return to the franchise after the first appearance in the Bad Boys for Life. This time they have developed a romance in the background. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence Bad Boys Die or Die is filled with fun cameos, with including returning character and surprising celebrity appearances. The fourth movie is the franchise sees Mike and Marcus on the run from the law as they try to clear Captain Howard's name. Their dangerous mission brings them head to the leader of the dangerous drug cartel. But they also bump into many unusual characters along the way. Following the success of Bad Boy for Life, Ride or Die gives fans of the franchise more explosive action and copy dialogue. Bad Boys Ride or Die is a hit with fans, as well as rare box office success in a year when several blockbusters have fallen short of expectations. Although it has not received unerringly positive review from critics, Ride or Die shows that the team behind the Bad Boy franchise know exactly what their fans want to see. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are given plenty of opportunity to crack jokes. The action sequences are more interactive than ever, and the sting of unexpected cameos is another crowd blasting that adds to the fun. Bad Boys Ride or Die has been one of the biggest hits of 2024 so far, and I know the perfect franchise that Bad Boys needs to cross over with after its newest success. Although the franchise was dormant for years after the release of Bad Boys 2, the Will Smith and Martin Lawrence series come back in 2020 with the release of Bad Boys for Life, which was a surprise hit. Bad Boys return again for a fourth film in 2024, and Bad Boys Ride or Die's box office success proves that it is ready for a major crossover. Upon hearing the news that Bad Boys Ride or Die was another huge financial hit, I was shocked. I know that Bad Boys for Life was one of the biggest movies of 2020, but I assumed that was just because it was one of the last major pre-pandemic release. I have always enjoyed the Bad Boys movies, and I was pleasantly surprised to see that they have continued to be hits into the 2020s. However, the fifth Bad Boys movie needs to shake things up a little, and I knew the franchise that could be perfect for that. Bad Boys franchise is not the only movie franchise in the cop genre that had a successful legacy sequel in 2024. The Beverly Hills Cop franchise also found itself falling to its oddly specific category, with Netflix releasing a legacy sequel to the illicit Eddie Murphy comedy series titled Beverly Hills Cop. Axel F. Much like the Bad Boys Revive movie, the new Beverly Hills Cop film sees the return of Eddie Murphy's classic character Axel Foley, with him getting into the same cop shinguis but this time against a modern-day backdrop. Bad Boys Ride or Die, the Beverly Hills Cops Axel F. proved the audience are hungry for comedy cop movies like these, and since both of these franchises have proven to have legs, I think they could make up an incredible crossover. Bad Boys and Beverly Hills Cop are tonally and structurally similar to their stories, could mesh together perfectly. Having Will Smith, Eddie Murphy, and Martin Lawrence in the same film could lead to be absolutely hilarious adventure, so I am crossing my fingers that will crossover will happen. Coming up with a story for Bad Boys Ride or Die and Beverly Hills Cop. XLF would be pretty simple as you would just need to find a reason for the cops to work together. Fighting a crime that would get Axel Foley to travel to Miami and meet the theatrical Bad Boys is perfectly in line with Eddie Murphy's character, as the original Beverly Hills Cop was based on the premise of Axel being a Detroit cop who went to Beverly Hills for a case. How Bad Boys and Beverly Hills Cops are already connected. Interestingly, a crossover between Bad Boys and Beverly Hills Cop is not too much for a scratch, as both film franchises are already connected. Jerry Bruckheimer is a producer on both film series, meaning that there is a strong link between them. Although it would take a lot more than one shared producer to guarantee a crossover. Jerry Bruckheimer could be the one to get things moving. He is heavily involved in the continued success of both franchises, and since they may both on this mind, it is not too fortunate for him to have the same crossover idea or two. Is a Bad Boys and Beverly Hills Cop crossover even possible? The biggest obstacle in the way of getting a Bad Boys and Beverly Hills Cop crossover made is the studios who hold the right. Bad Boys was always been owned and distributed by Sony, whereas Beverly Hills Cop started out at Paramount only for the newest film to be released on Netflix. Because of these details, I believe that Netflix would have to common ground for Bad Boys and Beverly Hills Cop to meet that. Sony has made deals with Netflix in the past, meaning that their working relationship doesn't make a crossover movie impossible. Some bargaining would obviously have to be done in order to satisfy both sides. But for the success that a crossover between Bad Boys and Beverly Hills Cops has the potential to bring, I think that it is worth it. Bad Boys Ride or Die age rating is in, and it continues a long-standing franchise tradition. After the success of 2020's Bad Boys for Life, director Adil Arabi and Bilal Fallah has returned to helm the upcoming sequel, which continues the story of Michael Lawrence as Will Smith and Marcus Burnett, Martin Lawrence. Bad Boys Ride or Die story follow Mike and Marcus as they attempt to clear their own names and restore the legacy of their late captain, with trailers promising lots of hard-hitting actions. FilmRating.com now reveals that the MPA has given Bad Boys Die or Ride an R rating for strong violence, language throughout, and some sexual reference. As seen in the chart below, the R rating continues a franchise tradition that has been in place since Michael Bay's 1995 original movie. The species of the rating, however, varies slightly within each installment. Bad Boys 1995 R rating, Bad Boys 2 R rating, Bad Boys for Life R, Bad Boys Ride or Die R rating. Bad Boys 4's rating is a good news. The Bad Boys franchise is not well known for a key ingredients. The strong chemistry between Smith and Lawrence is a major reason behind the franchise success, and the two actors are responsible for much of the movie's humor. This humor has always been distractingly R-rated, with Mike and Marcus frequently swearing and making somewhat crude remarks alongside the rest of the Bad Boys cast. The violence too, however, is a core part of Bad Boys' DNA. The three previous movies don't take themselves too seriously. The Bad Boys Ride or Die is said to be more the comedy end of the spectrum, but the action is never strained. Bad Boys for Life, for example, featured plenty of blood shootouts, and one scene ever depicted a bad guy getting impaled by a frog lift with little left to the imagination. If the upcoming sequel had instead opted for a PG-13 rating, it may have helped a younger audience into theater, but it is also heavily aligned that franchise core fan base. Expendables 3 tried this same tactic, and the sequel was a major disappointment. Many question and debate about how the story will continue after the emotional Bad Boys for Life ending, but Bad Boys Ride or Die is now confirmed to have one more goal and agreement of success.